got our podcast, thinking you should watch it. If you driving, man, it's good for you to listen. No, we keep it real. No, we spit it raw. Sports dialogue. No, it's good if I'm involved. No, we're not the news. We just cool dude with nobody to impress. Just talking our shit. Call it pressman coverage. Pressman coverage.
Welcome into Pressman Coverage, a podcast dedicated to you, the fan, and to everybody else who's emotionally scarred by what has happened over the last 3 weeks. Speaking of the last 3 weeks, the last 48 hours, 24 hours, 12 hours has been absolutely nuts. And we're going to dive into everything that's happened since Sunday up to now and talk a little bit about the future and where we think things are going to go. We're, of course, going to preview the next game in the next day or so, but today's all about the current state of the Titans. Talk a little bit about the game, talk about the coach. What a world we live in right now. But before we dive into it, Sauce, talk to the people.
Oh, man, I thought you was going to go Cody first. I thought you was going to, you know what I'm saying, at least help me stop the bleeding, man. I told y'all, man, the Cumberland was right behind me. So, luckily, we got out of there before I could make it to the Cumberland. But, oh, my God, man, what an array of events. This has been a wild turnaround since this tough loss, 41-20. Is that right? So we got beat. I mean, it was a beat down, man. Belt was applied. So, morale is down, man. It's looking pretty bad, man. We looking like we're not gonna hit my 11th game.
We only got to go 11-4 the rest of the season, dog.
We got to go 11 straight, guys. Remember the Titan style.
Maybe that's the trick.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, this might be the worst franchise ever. But yeah, man, we're here to discuss it, man. We're gonna show our faces regardless. Yeah, man. Cody, talk to me.
0-3, man. 0-3. And I am having my lunch handed to me in these TikTok comments by these Colts fans. You know, typically we do like these like postmortems on Monday. I mean, it was almost like a blessing that we didn't, because we got all this new information about like the direction of where this franchise is going.
Listen,
and a shocking trade. I would consider it shocking, pretty crazy to me that we traded Jarvis Brownlee. But yeah, I mean, just they put the belt to us. Couldn't stop them. JT went crazy. Daniel Jones was Danny Dimes. Indiana Jones. I mean, he looked good. He looked great, actually, and the stadium was empty.
We had a celebrity in our TikTok comments.
Their mascot was talking trash to me. The mascot. That's how down bad we are, boys.
You show some respect, buddy.
When the blue horse, and I'm not talking about Blue Chew, he pops up in your comments.
That's
unbelievable.
What did he say? My condolences is what he said to us.
Yeah, bro. He said, sorry about it. Like,
that's just rough, man. Last checked, we're close to 100 comments, and a lot of it is just
just rubbing it in. They're just bashing.
The crazy part is, but there's no Titans fans in there helping me out. Like I'm just getting punched. Punched in the face.
To be honest with you, if I had a burner account, I still wouldn't help you. I'm in the same spot. If I had a burner account, I would switch to a Colts fan.
Golly, wouldn't that be nice?
Because goodness gracious, man, what hope
we got
like.
stiff-armed into oblivion.
Man,
we used to do that to people.
We're not used to seeing that on the other side. And I'm talking about, man, he danced.
Taylor, man.
He jigged all the way to the end zone. Like, what?
He literally was like Dwight Howard on Dancing with the Stars. He just did whatever he wanted. And we just were just, I'm going to try to tackle. It just, oh, my goodness, man.
Yeah, we were in our
Daniel Jones didn't get touched.
I'm talking about
Daniel Jones didn't get touched. That was the cleanest I've ever seen his jersey.
No sacks.
He was out there like Peyton Manning, just dissecting us. Dotting us up all day.
I saw 17. I thought Josh Allen had slipped into a Colts uniform the way we made him look.
Yeah, and then an ultimate coaching malpractice where the coach has 2 timeouts, then gets a delay a game, and he's like, you know what? Screw it. 64-yard field goal. Let's do it.
Like, and I get it. Joey Sly has a leg, but there's 5 minutes left, buddy. This is not
It's
end of
just
quarter,
crazy.
end of half, end of half, end of
Yeah.
game. Excuse me. Like, this is end of your coaching career. That
Mhm.
just happened. I mean, it's interesting to see just some of the decisions that have been made, and we can talk a little bit more about the game, and we'll dive into some of the organizational decisions. But one of the decisions that have been made has been made by Calvin Ridley, and his decision is, I don't want to catch the ball. I don't care what you say to me. I'm not going to catch the ball. And I know he started off slow last year, excuse me, in the Colts game last year. I think it was week 4 is when he picked it up a
Mhm.
little bit. But, it's one of those where it's like, dude, we're paying you way too much. Targeted 7 times with 1 catch. I know you were credited for 1 drop, but in my book, you've got 3. There's one
He
of
Man.
got
those, and
3 in one play.
like, how do you pop the ball up to an easier catch than the original catch and drop that catch? Like, dog, you can't be serious right now, man. We're paying you way too much, and you're somebody who we expected to be able to depend on, but it's the 4th round rookie who we're dependent on more than anything. It's
Yeah.
a sad place to be.
It's yeah. I never thought we would be in this place, and I mean we're here. We're here, and this is embarrassing, to say the least. I'm disappointed. I went to that game with the Ridley jersey on, and I have to defend him in the stands with that many drops. With you getting paid that amount of money, buddy, what are you doing?
Yep. Still no
This
plays over
is
30 yards. I mean, this offense, I
none,
mean, it's
none,
absolutely
none.
atrocious. And we got our longest play of the season is 29 yards, and that was like the second player of the year where Cam Ward escaped the pocket and just threw it to his left to
That's right.
Tony Pollard against the Broncos, and Tony Pollard was able to do something with it. Completely off script, nothing to do with the offense. It's it's a really sad state of affairs. Chimere DK robbed of another touchdown. That one hurt
Oh,
my heart.
oh my God! Like, why do they keep doing this?
They
Why?
don't want to see me happy.
Why?
I think it's me. My
That was
fantasy
the one.
teams are
That was
getting annihilated every week. Like, like, just I'm in. Can I just go into a little? I'm a Gators fan. I got Billy Napier as my head coach, and then I got the Billy Napier of the NFL as my head coach, and it's all the same situation. It's just I'm in a sad state of
mm,
affairs.
mm, mm,
That's all.
mm.
This is your time to just let it all out,
Yeah.
because
Nobody
right
wants to know
now
about
we
my
need
therapy
this.
sessions.
We need a space. This is a safe space. Matter of fact, I didn't even say this at the beginning. Like, comment, subscribe. But right now, let's focus on the comments. I'm a subscription guy typically, but comment right now what your raw feeling is of where the team is. Just drop it in
Mhm.
the comments. I don't care if it's one word. Just drop it in the comments. It's painful. I don't I don't
Shite.
I don't know, but I will say this. Jeffrey Simmons is earning his money. I
Yes.
think that Jeffrey Simmons has been, I know that sacks equal production. So I'm not going to sit here and act like he's just been dominating in that category. Considering we have 2
Hmm.
sacks on the year,
Yep.
nobody is. But he's gotten so many pressures, and a lot of them are through double teams. It's like I'm just
He's still
looking
finding a
around
way
like
through.
he's fighting, man. I mean, there was a chart that came out, and it was like your pass rush win rate versus something on the y-axis, whatever. He's like at the top right far column. Like, he's like the only
Yeah.
person in that. Like, he's dominating.
Mhm.
So shout out to him, man. The weight loss, it looks great. He's moving very quickly. But Daniel Jones, the sack that we got last week on Stafford, Daniel Jones was in the same situation, and we saw what somebody who has kneecaps can do when you don't actually take somebody to the ground. He ran for
Completely escaped and ran
20
for
something
20
yards,
yards.
close to it. I mean,
Hmm.
it's one of those where it's like, we've got to find a way to get somebody on the ground. I know we used to be called the tickle monsters back when we had a good pass rush. Somebody famously called us the tickle monsters, and we tickled them for 9 sacks the next game. But for us, we truly are the tickle monsters. We haven't hurt anybody. They literally laugh when they see our pass rush coming.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
no pass rush, couldn't generate no pressure on Daniel Jones. Alec Pierce left the game with a concussion like in the second quarter, third quarter, something like that, and he already had 100 yards. I mean,
Doing what
they
they
whooped
wanted.
us up and down the field. They whooped us.
Up
I
and
think
down.
they
They only
had
punted
about
one
100
time.
more.
Was that one
Hey,
time?
that's a W. We made them punt.
Yeah.
Only team
First
in the
team.
league who's done
Yeah.
that.
First one's always the hardest,
First one.
Colts.
You know, and you know, it's interesting. You talk about chunk plays, just looking at the longs for everybody. Michael Pittman, 20-yard reception. Alec Pierce, 19-yard reception. Tyler Warren, 17-yard reception. Josh Downs, 29-yard reception. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, come on, man. Like, we've chunk play after chunk play, and I do think a lot of that is because our pass rush. I would love to blame the secondary, but when the quarterback can literally do whatever he wants to, it's
Mhm.
so easy to get into a groove when the pass rush is not a part of the fact. Like, you can always send a running back on a route. You never have to chip. You can do whatever you want. And if they do send 6 or 7, Daniel Jones diced us up. Again, he was leading the league in yardage when being blitzed. So it's one of those things where it's like anywhere you go, tic tac toe. You know, now you got
Yeah,
one
and that's
less
the only
person to
way we
defend.
can generate pressure is by
Yes.
blitzing.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a
Yes.
double negative. Yeah, I mean, we just got absolutely mollywop. Cam Ward threw the third play of the game, throws a pick six to Kenny Moore. I mean, 0-3. This is so reminds me so much of last year when we played the Packers and Malik Willis came in, because you remember Jair Alexander caught that pick six against
Yeah.
Will Levis. Cam Ward
Yeah.
threw a pick six, and now we're both 0-3 last year and now, and the season is over 3 weeks into the season.
Man.
Horrible feeling. I mean, it's just there's no hope. And then we've got to touch on this coaching gaffe where the Colts take a timeout, then we take a
My
timeout, or
God.
vice versa,
That's what pissed me off.
and they can't make a decision on if they want to kick the
Bro.
field goal or not. And then you get a delay a game on top of it. Like, I think that in general, they probably like brought him aside after the game. They're like, listen, you can't call plays and manage the game. You can barely manage a target. Like, we're gonna have to
pick
take
one.
you've
gotta
got
pick
to. But to me, like, I don't know to y'all, but him like giving up play calling, I mean, he just fired himself, in my opinion. Because what else
You
are you
think
here
so?
for? Yeah,
Man, I mean,
he was the play calling head coach. That was his purpose of being here. And if you're not calling plays, we already seen your managing skills. Like, it's just, I think
would
it's like
say-
a self-own. Like,
if I could give you a little bit of small pushback, right? If this plan works with them, I wouldn't even call it demoting. It's just, let's see what you can do if we take your focus off of that and on managing the game, managing all 3 phases, because he was calling good plays. Let's get that understood. He was calling good plays, but when it comes to game management and knowing what to do as a head coach in those specific moments, he dropped the ball time and time again through last year, leading on into this year. And this is where it's getting out of hand. And so I think he just hasn't put enough energy into that side of the game. You know what I mean? That's where you come down to a situation like this, where it's like, oh, I want to go for it on 4th and not know to be confident in your decision. Like, you're indecisive. You know what I mean? So when it comes to them stripping that away, I wonder, will this help him get a full scope of the full package? And if he can turn it around.
Pause.
Yeah, pause that up. My bad. We gonna pause
Scope
it
of the
up.
full package. Holy crap.
We gonna pause that up. But y'all help me, man. It's been a tough week. I told you I was about to
Crazy,
Cumberland.
bro. So
I was
here's
about
my
to
thing.
Cumberland.
Here's my thing with that, with what you're saying, and the fact that we're not. I
Because
don't
Bo
see.
is
I don't
well
see,
qualified.
I agree, but I don't see Bo moving the needle so much where we're winning games. So he's still going to be the head coach of a losing team, and on top of that, he already gave up his play calling duties. And let's just say, like, hypothetically speaking, what if Bo calling the offense gets us 28 points a game? Amy's going to look at that like, wow, like 28 points. Like,
Okay, all right. So let me ask you this.
let's hire him as the head coach.
But
Maybe the OC.
Yeah, I mean, like, and get a better game manager to be the head coach. Like,
let's walk through this scenario, because obviously he skipped his guy as offensive coordinator and gave Bo the play calling duties, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, he will be the offensive coordinator without the title of offensive coordinator. Excuse me. Is was that the final nail in the coffin for Cali, or is there a way that he can revitalize his entire situation? Because it doesn't look good right now. Now, if they are able to turn around and put up points, and he's able to game manage the games better, and you do squeak out some wins, do you look at that different now? Right? Because that has been the biggest issue that we've had with him. It's just decision making, having a feel for the game. Like, how do y'all think they analyze the situation, or do you think
him anymore?
So that's my two scenarios. I want to ask: do you think there's a bright side to this, or do you think this has been just a escape route this entire time, and this is just to buy time? This is his final nail in the coffin. He's fired whether he likes it or not, whether this comes out a success or not, and we're just gonna look in a different direction. Like,
yeah,
I'm just curious
at
how
as the ownership and the general manager is looking at this guy, and he's like, this dude is so in over his head that we literally have to make the one thing that he was good at, and the reason why we hired him, we have to take that part away from him. That's his whole purpose of being here was being the play caller.
Yeah,
and he
but
can't do both.
Also a quarterback guru. I mean, he was looked at as that. So, I mean, it's not like that's stripped away from him. He can still pour into Cam, still mold Cam, still install the game plan. But when it comes to having attention to all detail, like he struggled with this last year, managing all three phases of the game. So it's just like, I don't doubt his ability to pour into Cam, game planning. Like, he's an offensive guy. But he's struggling with just the entire team. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he's screwed from the jump with this. Like, that's my biggest thing. Like, what's this whole plan? And then it doesn't help with the whole trading of Jarvis Brownlee. Like, all of it looks nasty now. All of it.
Yeah, I think the Brownlee trade may just be the first person to get traded, the first player to get traded off of this team. They may start being a everything but Cam sale.
Yeah, and to kind of jump back to what you're talking about there, Randy, there's two things I want to point out. These are strictly my opinions, which all of this is. I think that Nick Holtz may have been was the initial option for Brian, or who he wanted to elevate. But as ownership and as a GM, if that's your guy and I'm considering letting you go if this doesn't go well, he's likely going to walk with you, or we're going to escort him out with you along with your father. Yeah. Enjoy your vacation, family vacation. It's going to cause even more disruption if we appoint him as a play caller now, just have to circle back and then appoint somebody else. So I think that's really the primary reason why. I think he was actually told that Bo Hardigree or maybe Mike McCoy were his two options to choose from. And they may have given him that option of who to choose from, and he went with Bo. But at the end of the day, and the thing is, the optics of going from a person who never actually called plays to somebody else who's never actually called plays as an OC was going to be equally as bad optics. So I think that's one of the reasons why he got skipped over. On the other side of the house, it's tough for me to find a scenario where he survives this. I do think one of his calling cards was the potential of what he could be overall as a play calling head coach and having an offense that rolls. And the benefit of that is having an OC who's going to be a long-term OC, and that continuity, the word that they love to throw around, can stay because you don't have a good OC gets poached by somebody else. Then you bring another guy in, he's bad, you have to fire him. Another one who's good, he gets poached by somebody else. And the cycle continues. So I think that was the biggest benefit. So now if you come in and Bo Hardigree is a good play caller, which he did have several interviews, I say several, but 3 to 4 OC interviews before he accepted this role. He's already a candidate for that because of what he did with Oakland. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, what exactly are you bringing again? Because now they're going to be looking to see, okay, can you lead men? And I think he's shown that he cannot. And the biggest thing is the men he's leading now no longer believe in him. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like you now, even if let's say he became mentally something clicked and he became the perfect in-game executor, the players still don't believe in him anymore. So there's not much that he can really do. I just think the writing's on the wall, and this is the first step to that. This is the situation where, you're really just giving your last ditch effort. Hey, me and the wifey have been to therapy. We've talked to our friends about it. Let's just go on a vacation to Hawaii together and just try to talk everything through. And if we can't figure it out by the time we get back, we're just going to go ahead and go our separate ways. This 3-week road trip is the Hawaii trip.
Oh man, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And he comes back for Vrabel time.
And I honestly think that if they do let him go, it's going to actually be after this road trip, but before the Vrabel game. And I'll tell you why I believe that. A lot of teams get that week or 2-week bump by having an interim head coach. They're going to want to use that as an advantage in the Vrabel game if it does happen. But on the other side of it, there's a built-in excuse. If Amy does lose to Vrabel in her head, it's like, well, I lost with the interim head coach. I'm fine. Like, no, you're not, because your team's still bad. But at the end of the day, I think that's what's going to end up happening is they're going to go through these first 3 weeks. They're not going to throw Mike McCoy or, if it's Bones Fossil in, and we can talk about that here in a second. They're not going to throw them into the Wolves and make them go on a road trip as soon as they, jump into it. They're going to let them come back home, not have to deal with any boos in their first home game. They'll probably get cheered as a new head coach, to be honest with you.
Oh, man.
So it'll be interesting to see
I'm putting the pieces together.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Amy was there. We all saw her. I mean, she didn't have the courage to speak, but I mean, she was
scheduled. She was supposed to speak for Mike's induction.
Yep, she was scheduled to speak, and she elected not to.
She didn't want to get booed. It was raining down in there. It was raining down.
I mean, I felt bad for Mike Keith, to be real, dude. I mean, like,
that was
just how that entire ending of that second quarter just happened, and then there's just like introducing Mike Keith for his thing that's supposed to be like, awesome and everything, and we're just like, I mean, we were just screaming fire Brian and booing everything, and Amy's just back there just standing there with that little awkward smile that she has, and
yep,
she doesn't have the courage. Yeah, she doesn't have the courage to speak because she can't. She sends freaking Burke Nihill up there to take the heat. I mean, just to take the heat.
Last minute for Burke too. What
Yeah.
can I say?
I don't do this all the time.
Because Buddy was here 25 years and you've been here one of them. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like, you don't have much to say anyway. It needs to be Amy who said something like that. Otherwise, they would have got a former player in outside of Dyson to come speak. And just got 2 players versus having Burke. They had to have a member of some sort of executive team come up there and say that. But I also believe this is a little, a little weird, but I also believe that they told Mike Keith, hey, during your acceptance speech, it may look bad, but don't mention Amy's name. Because
they just
if
said
he were
owner.
to say, and thank you to the owner, Amy, they would have boo right in the middle of it and ruined the speech. And I hate that for Mike Keith because you can just tell he's a down, hard nosed, love the
He's
Titans.
one of us.
He's just one of us, man. And I hate the fact that his moment wasn't as big as it should have been because the moments he created for us were bigger than they should have been because of how excellent he was at his job. He made a sack in the fourth quarter of a game. We're down 20, feel like we're about to win the Super Bowl. So shout out to you, Mike Keith. I'm sorry you had to be a part of that. I was in the stadium. I'm not even a boo guy, and I was in there booing. And I hate it. I love this team, but I love this team so much that I'm willing to boo somebody for them to know I care so much. You should hear me. I'm a season ticket holder. If I could have threw my money on the field and say, hey, you've already taken it. Yeah, just keep it. But you'll never see my face again. I lied. I'll be back when we play the Patriots. But it's one of those where, I wanted them to feel my frustration, and booing is the only way I can do it because not showing up doesn't really hurt them because there was barely anybody at the game anyway, and they don't care. They announced 56,000 tickets sold. Yeah, whatever. We saw how many people. We were literally sitting, just to give you guys a picture of where we're at. We're like 7 rows up from the field in the corner. 4 rows in front of us are almost completely empty. Like legit.
Yeah,
empty.
by that time.
By halftime.
Yeah, and we were talking like just let people in for free. Like let's just
literally.
Like at this point, I mean, like the place is it's like a ghost town.
Hey, the intro with the players coming out, no juice. Like we can't even cheer for our team because it's just like we're not satisfied with the product on the field. You know what I mean? So, oh man, let me
ask y'all something real quick. Hypothetically speaking, and we've had this conversation before, not in on a public forum, but hypothetically speaking, they fire Brian Callahan. I mean, do you just clean house?
I mean,
Send Chad and Borgonzi with them?
So I don't think they're going to do that. I think that and this is the cycle that was created by them not cleaning house last year.
Vicious. I mean,
Because the thing
cycle.
is, you fire Borgonzi. For me, it's tough for me to do that right now. Because he just had an excellent draft class. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those, like, his draft class has been solid, and even his free agent class has been solid. Xavier Woods has looked like one of our better players on defense. Cody Barton hasn't been the issue at linebacker, even though we have an issue, and we'll speak about that in a second. All of our rookies have looked solid. Even, we haven't seen Kevin Winston. We haven't seen Khalil Mullings.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only ones we haven't seen. Everybody who's been on the field have been people who've been productive.
And Femi still has
that opportunity. He'll be fine too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, my bad to cut you off. I was just gonna say Femi is the only one that kind of has that question mark of like, get out a little time, let's see what that develops into. But I digress. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. And he was drafted as a development player. You know what I mean? I think that's why people are giving him grace, because I think it was understood, and Margonzi mentioned it when he drafted. He said, hey, he has the traits that we're looking for. Hadn't played the position long. We think he can develop into X, Y, and Z. I want people to understand this too. He has actually set the edge pretty well for the Titans overall. Like, he's not allowed a lot of outside runs on his side. It's actually been between the tackles where they're doubling Jeff and our linebackers, which Cedric Gray got benched. James Williams was not active, or hurt. So it's one of those things where it's like Kazir White was in most of the second half, which is a guy who had 100+ tackles last year for the Cardinals. We've got some gaping holes, man. And one of those holes that just opened up just to kind of move us along is Jarvis Brownlee Jr. So for those, who are just kind of catching wind of this, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. was traded to the Jets. We gave them a 7th-round pick and got back a 6th-round pick.
That's ridiculous. When we got him in the 5th.
Got him in the 5th, man. And he was outplaying, at least in my opinion, that 5th-round draft grade or draft round, I should say. So it's really interesting, that move. Cody, tell me what you think about it. Sauce, weigh in as well.
Well, Godspeed to him, against the New York media, because he may put hands on somebody if they come at him the wrong way.
We saw what he was doing in Atlanta.
Yeah. Hey, less holding calls on the corner, I guess, is what we'll get. I liked Jarvis Brownlee Jr. as a player. I thought he had the feistiness. I thought he had the energy that this team needed. And to get a 6th-round swap, to me, it's just not inspiring a lot of confidence in like the direction. And to me, it signifies that, if they're willing to trade him, who's, in the 2nd year or 3rd year or whatever he is, then it may just be, we may just start selling off pieces and trying to get as much capital as possible, where they're just like, okay, like, we'll give you a 6 for Jarvis Brownlee. Okay, yeah, we'll take a 6th round.
See, for me, I was trying to rattle my brain between, because I think Jarvis Brownlee is a really good player. I think he has a lot of potential. For me, I think I was trying to wrap my mind around, was this a personal thing, or was this maybe personal / you have a bigger plan at hand? Because, we're struggling to get any type of pass rush. So it's like, all right, in some way, are you planning to do something with that to maybe move some pieces around to maybe help us get some pass rush? That I would hope. Maybe that's just my thinking. Or if we're in complete tear it down mode, it's just nasty work. I don't get it. I don't like how sometimes we make these types of moves with essentially no explanation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the biggest thing with him is he fit our timeline. I think that's what made me a little bit shocked. If it was Roger, I almost would have understood Roger, because he's on a contract year. You know what I mean?
Roger.
Even though I think Roger's a solid player and he'll probably get re-signed. Hopefully we re-sign him. It's one of those things where it's like he's on a contract year, so I could understand that a little bit more. If we were planning on letting him go and you want to let him go for nothing, sure. But JBJ was a part of, he was included within our general timeline. And that part threw me off, because I felt as if everybody in our timeline, we should find a way to fit and continue to keep those players who are young and promising. But I'll tell you where where there's smoke, there's fire kind of starts standing out to me. To go from playing in the game, finishing the previous game, to going into the Colts game, popping up on the injury report, then in a walking boot game day, but then being traded 2 days after that, that doesn't smell right to me. Because you have to be able to pass a physical and all these things that happen, right? So how can you do those things if you were just in a walking boot 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago? That
Right.
tells me that there may be something going on in terms of just in the building, something that we don't know. And will we ever find out the truth? Maybe not. Maybe we'll hear some rumblings, after he's officially. I know the team announced it, so he's officially gone. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe they'll wait a couple days and announce it. But something tells me that there's a little bit of fire somewhere because I'm seeing the smoke. Is all I'm saying on that. I think it has to do with something off the field. That's
Mm.
kind of my inkling there.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask y'all this, man. So back to that like Callahan thing. Y'all 10-4 hats on with me. Okay. I love that analogy of what you said with the honeymoon and the last ditch effort. How the Titans have been maneuvering for these last few years that we have been just bad, right? Do y'all look at this as I see you kind of in a sense like alluding to it, but is this essential like Callie demoting himself, right? Putting Bo there as the play caller. If you have success with Bo, that's your replacement, right? Because if you think about it, there's not really much disconnect with continuity of the offense with Bo. He's with Cam every day. So he said it himself in the press conference where you're not missing that vital piece of a quarterback's development like it was if you fire a head coach and that's all the connection that the quarterback had was with that coach. Like, do y'all look at that as can y'all see that or am I tripping?
I'll tell you this, and Cody, I'll let you jump in. I don't think Bo Hardigree is going to be the long term solution because I think the next move we make is getting a seasoned coach in as a head coach. I don't think they're going to go with another first time head coach in there. I just think that's what it's going to be. I could see a Mike McCarthy type of player, coach, filling the void next year. I don't see John Gruden. I think he did not show enough stability in the places that he's been prior to in terms of like his decision making. I think they're going to go with somebody where the decision making really wasn't in question. It was just more of a matter of wins and losses per se with those coaches. That's what I think is where we're headed. But what I do think the real thing that's happening right now is we spoke about it going into the season and coming into the year. A rebuild is not just an off-season thing. An active rebuild, which is what we're in, are finding opportunities actively to move pieces to continue to set yourself up for 2 or 3 years down the line. And I think from a player personnel perspective, that's what's happening right now. I think we're about to experience the tough side of the rebuild, which is the in-season rebuild. Off-season a little easier because you see a player walk out the door and you see another one come in. So you're just you're not necessarily distracted by somebody just left. In season, a lot of times when somebody leaves, a player doesn't come in, it's a pick. So you don't see the value of that until this time next year. One of the fourth round picks, I think it was for Ernest Jones. We traded him, I think it was this week, going into week 4 last year.
Yeah, it was early.
We let him go. And we were like, goodness gracious, Ernest Jones turned into Eligio Manor. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, okay, I guess I'll take that. So we're in a season where we're not going to be able to see the benefits of what's going on anytime soon, but we've just got to deal with it. But Cody, I'll let you jump in.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they basically just saw enough of Callahan, and I think a part of it too is like Amy doesn't want to be the person that's firing somebody right off the rip again, and she gets deemed as a overreactionary, pulls the trigger too fast. So this is just like a quick little Band-Aid. They're going to do this for the rest of the season. We'll win 3-4 games or whatever, 2-3 games.
Got another high pick.
And then he'll be gone. And then they'll go like either, the Mike McCarthy route. I don't think they would go that route personally. I think that they want that offensive play caller because they don't want to keep on having to keep hiring, coordinators or whatever, which they had to do when Vrabel was in charge after they lost Arthur Smith. So I would think somebody like Arthur Smith would be a candidate potentially. I think they need somebody who's in the middle between being hard-nosed, that demands respect in the locker room, and can call plays. So, I mean, to me, that's like an Arthur Smith. I don't want like no Mike McDaniels, anything like that.
I don't know if I would do the Arthur Smith thing. We've seen him as a head coach. He struggled with the same things.
Yeah, but I mean, he had Mariota, and then Mariota turned to Desmond Ritter.
He didn't even know how to use Bijan. So it's
fair.
just like,
I mean, he loved some Tyler Algier.
Yeah, like it was certain decisions he was making as a head coach that was like, okay, are you in over your head? Same thing. Like, that's something that we're having a harsh reality with.
Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown. I mean,
I'm starting to realize, and that's the thing with Callie. He was an amazing offensive coordinator with the Bengals, and him and his partnership with Zach, like they were cooking. You know what I'm saying? Even though they left Burrow with minimal, assets around him, shall I say? But we're learning that a lot of these guys, when they're getting these promotions, that they have a lot more on their plate than they realize or bargain for, because you don't go to like just operating with the offense and all phases of the offense, from the offensive line to all the other pass catchers and the running backs and the quarterback. You go to the entire team, and that breaks down into every single position from there. So it's just like, I'm starting to realize that some of these guys that's getting promoted up that quick and fast, they're just not ready for it. I don't know.
Well, Sean McVay was ready for it. Kyle Shanahan was ready for it.
I think some can get in
there with the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, he was ready for it. I mean, we just happened to get the guy who, you throw three things out and he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And this is what we got. So, I mean, I think the only reason why he hasn't been fired truly is because Amy and how she operates. She knows that she probably does want to fire him, but she's just like, I can't have this reputation still. And so, she's probably just going to ride it out. We're going to, do a little self demotion, make it look like he's doing something good for the team, and then, deuces.
Golly, man.
Yeah, because just really, this stuff to me is like an optics thing, like I just imagine, we're working at Target, and we continue to ring somebody up, and we're always pressing the wrong button, and we're charging them for the wrong things.
He got a flat screen TV, and we rung up the bananas.
And then they say, you know what? Instead of that, why don't you just be the guy who just stands up and just say, hey, I'm ready for you guys on hour one, and then somebody else scans it for you. Like, you basically have been fired. You know what I mean?
He's cooked, man. He's cooked,
man. You're cooked.
You know what got on my nerves?
They demoted him to the greeter when you walk in.
They asked him, they're like, do you have any issue with like how you call plays? He's like, no, I love the way I call plays.
No, I don't have any issue with that process.
It was great. Like I have no regrets about my play calling, even though I like to throw 3 times on the 1 yard line. And
it's one of those where it's like, if maybe if we were winning more games, it wouldn't be such a thing, but it is a thing, and don't get me wrong. I understand, where we're at as well, where, even a guy who won a division multiple times, went to an AFC championship in Mike Vrabel, even when his teams were depleted, he wasn't able to make the offense look good. And I'm not saying he's an offensive guru, but like, I also want to recognize that our team on the offensive side of the ball is not good. Like I get that, but it's when that's accompanied with all of the in-game mistakes is when things really get rough. People were shocked about Mike Vrabel because he was an A+ in being a leader of men. Even if he was the same grade or worse than Callie when it came to scheming up offenses, he was an A plus. So people are like, oh my goodness, like, but he rallies the troops so well. So with him, it's easy for everybody to be like, we got to get rid of him because he doesn't rally the troops and his offenses don't look good. I mean, I think I saw earlier today we're like 32nd in passing. I think our best thing we have is like our rushing offense was like 29th. I mean, like we're bottom 5 in absolutely every stat on both sides of the ball. And that's just ridiculous, man.
Well, that's the thing too.
Have that.
It's that, I mean, Michael Pittman even said, he's like, yeah, I mean, we looked over there and nobody was jumping around. Nobody was getting excited. We were like, they don't want to play today. And that took me back to, I remember when we went to practices and we would look at each other like, it just seems like lifeless out here. Like and I remember Derek Mason bringing up that they had no juice like during the practices. So it's almost like this entire time that they have just been like these corpses just going through the motions. And that's a reflection of the coach.
Let me.
That's
so you feel like, so do you feel like with the proper placement of a coach in there would be able to turn this program around, like
Not
get
this
these guys
year,
back rejuvenated?
In the future, I think so. I think you can insert somebody who is, somebody who people believe in. That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
I've been in situations, and I hate to keep bringing up work, but there's been times at work where I just didn't believe in my leader, and I didn't think my leader really believed in themselves that much. They were nice people, they were, but just didn't believe they knew what they were doing. And we got a new leader. It's like, okay, cool, works fine now. Like just that little change can swap things up. Not to get too personal, but I just know that that's just a reality of just human morale is believing in the person who's leading you. That's the name of the game. It's like going to church, man. You go to church and your pastor's up there and you don't believe that either he believes what he's saying or that what he's saying is true. You're going to go to a different church, or you just, whatever. You don't want to just not go to church. So maybe you just keep going, but it's just one of those, it's just rough, man. I think that we've got to find a way, man, to get somebody in here who can really help lead, because I do think that there are pieces that you can build on here. I do, but we've got to be consistent in our approach and really bring in somebody who we think can do something different. So there are a few things that I want to point out specifically as some positives.
Oh, please, yes.
So this is something you said it last week, Cody, that this is what we paid Dan Moore for.
Yeah.
Dan Moore was the second highest rated lineman for us at 85, outside of Peter Skoronski, which we'll talk about in a second. Dan Moore was just fine. He just 1 or 2 pressures. You know what I mean? Just that's what he does against average level talent. If you're average or below, you're really not going to beat him, and he's going to look really solid. And I appreciate that turnaround. At least we got what we expected out of him, which is his MO has always been the big dogs, I crumble. And we didn't see a big dog, and he didn't crumble. Now we're about to see 2 big dogs just coming.
I was about to say, what the reward is for that? Daniil Hunter. Hey, good job, guys. Got your confidence up. Now here comes Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson.
Here comes Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson.
Stoney Keeley, who's like the most positive person ever, who's like, there's just no chance.
No.
Like, there's just no chance.
I was looking at like the top 10. I think PFF put like their top 10 edge rushers so far this season, and both Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter were on that list. And I think Will Anderson might have been number 1 or something like that. So
I think Cam Ward's got a little tightness in his shoulder that game. Let's go ahead and get Brandon Allen.
Just let him sit down. Don't get him killed. The other thing I want to talk about is Peter Skoronski. This dude has been a menace. Like, I don't think people understand. I think it was a stat like this last 6 games or something, like a total of 7 pressures and 1 sacks given up. Like, he's on pace to be an all-pro guard. Like, I hope you guys understand this, like, as Titans fans. Peter Skoronski is legit. He is a top 10 guard right now. If he wasn't on such a bad team, people will be ranting and raving about him. He's on a Quentin Nelson type of trajectory for his career. Like, I want people to understand that. Like, I'm not just puffing smoke. Look at the numbers. He is going to be one of the top guards in the NFL. He is one right now, but will be recognized as a top 5 guard, in my opinion, very, very soon. So big shout out to Dan Moore. Another person I want to give a shout out to is Alec Iomanner. Alec Iomanner was our 4th highest rated PFF rated player at a 70. He just continues to make plays. I know he didn't have that many yards. He didn't go for 100 yards, but the plays he made were so impactful, man. Like contested catches, even ones where he didn't necessarily get his feet in. He fought for footballs. He's taking it away from people. He high pointed a pass on the sideline that I just knew was going out of bounds and was about to be picked. Like just excellence that I've seen out of him, man. Is somebody
Yeah.
who I really see as having an opportunity to solidify that wide receiver room for years to come as at least a wide receiver too. Some people believe he can be a one. I'm not saying I don't, but I want to see some more sustainability of his production. But I'm going to actually pivot over to you guys. I want one positive thing out of you guys to help wrap us up today in terms of the players and how they've been going.
I mean, I don't know if it's positive, but I just looked at their stats, dude. I just couldn't help but laugh. This poor, I'm gonna say this poor bastard, Chimere DK, 10 targets, 5 catches, 1 yard. Like I was trying to like look through the stats. I just saw this dude, and I was just like, I just squished my eyes. 5 catches for 1 yard, bro. Oh,
I
But
don't
he's
know if
showing
had
so
a
much
catch
flash on the field, man.
like
He's going to be a
caught
stud. We use
everything
him right.
behind the line of scrimmage. He hasn't caught
it's just
anything past the line of
unbelievable.
scrimmage, it feels like. But in the return game, he's been excellent. He is every
I think
game
he's a
there's
pretty good
play where he's
playmaker,
a
too.
tackle away. He can really, find some opportunities to do some things for us. I like him as a gadget player. I love to see him be used as more as a wide receiver. But,
Mm-hmm.
finally, we got a little wake up call from Mr. Tyler Lockett this game. Where he finally showed up and moved the chains a few times and dove to the ground like he always does. So, I'm excited about that. Give me a player or just a overall unit of our team, Randy, that you see some positive light in.
I mean, this may sound cliche, but I got to give it to Cam, man. Like, Cam is showing a lot of promise out there. His development of pocket movement, just being confident. He's admitted when he's like, oh, I called the wrong play. Like that pick six, he was like, hey, I called the wrong play and I just looked that guy off. But I mean, he figured out a pretty good game, even though we got our butts whooped.
Mm-hmm.
I'm liking his development, and I think he's still in his pure form right now. He's not tarnished, so it's just I want to get the right hands on him and get his confidence there, because I think if we can get his confidence there, we can win games, honestly, with just his abilities. I'll put it like that. So he's been a bright spot for sure.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see in his future when he can actually just set his feet and just
Mm-hmm.
rip the ball. Because a lot of
Yeah.
times, like his feet are all over the place. But to me, I will say my positive though. I mean, it's got to be Jeff Simmons, and then to me, L'Jarius Sneed minus the game where he I think he struggled a little bit against Devontae Adams, which who doesn't, but
Mm-hmm.
just in that second half in particular. But I think he's been solid for us all season.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I think people may look at that Devontae Adams run of plays or whatever and be like, "Oh man, he's been getting cooked." He really
Nope.
hasn't. He's been serviceable. He's been there's not a lot of catches that come his way, and he's somebody who I trust to be on somebody else's number one receiver. Every number one receiver is going to get receptions. Do you think people don't go into the game saying, "Hey, we're going to do everything we can to stop
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson"? Do you think people don't go into the game saying that and they still cook you every week? Amon-Ra St. Brown, like that just happens. And Devontae Adams has been one of those people for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of
Mm-hmm.
those where it's going to happen. But it's one of those where I appreciate the effort he's given, and he's somebody who actually, I think he really does care about the game. I don't think he loves the Titans, but he loves football
Nah.
enough to want to be out there every snap and play as much as he can. He had an opportunity to sit this week with a back injury, and he stepped out on the field, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Sneed, and I want to just add on to that. Like, yeah, he may not like necessarily like the Titans, but I think that's only because we're just not winning. I think if we were winning games and we put some good product out on the field, like he'd be just as hype as if he was in Kansas City. So I kind of I see his fire and his passion. So I just want to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. It's a shame. It's a
100%.
shame we don't get his his playoff level. I
Yeah.
would love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, one thing, a picture of Sneed, just to kind of let you know the impact that he has. He played 29 pass coverage snaps last week. Anybody want to take a guess at how many times he was targeted? Randy, you got a guess?
I'd probably say twice.
According to PFF, 0.
0? Oh,
Wow.
Nobody. They did not even take a chance at throwing his way. So obviously he gave up 0 catches, but that's one of those things where it's like, hey man,
He still strikes
Down
that fear.
side of the
he
field.
still strikes that.
He still
fear.
got that rep.
And part of that could be a lot of the targets were attributed to the linebackers and safeties because they ran the same play 100 times. We're going to run a bootleg to the flats and depend on your safeties and or linebackers to tackle the safety and running back tight end and running back, and we didn't either. But it is what it is. Overall, man, the state of the team is just in a place where I'm trying to like remind myself we're rebuilding. I had us winning 7 games. That's
You ready to revise that?
I'm ready.
Where we at?
I'm ready, man. I've got us.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Don't give in.
Looking
Don't
at the
give in.
schedule,
It's only week 3.
I don't see a lot of wins. Like week 17, New Orleans. I mean, that's like the one.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Hey man, if Bo comes out here and he gets us hot on the roll, we're back on my living game pace.
hot and on the roll, huh?
Yeah. That.
Mhm. But
All right, man. I've got to come
man?
down too. I got to come down.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
we know you do.
Our schedule's really like, okay. 2 years ago, I would have said we were winning 12 games with this schedule. You know what I mean? Like
We had a better coach 2 years ago.
like Houston is, well, that's to be determined. Houston is 0-3. Arizona has not looked good. Vegas hasn't looked good. New England hasn't looked good as well. Like, the Browns are on the schedule still. Again, you mentioned New Orleans. Jacksonville's been wishy-washy. It's like any other year, man. You know what I mean? Like, why does this have to be our full rebuild year when we've got a schedule of a lot of, with an average team, winnable games? But we don't. We don't have an average team. And I'm going to move my projection to 5 games. That's where I'm at. I just think they're going to kind of squeak out a couple wins within these next. I think we're going to win 2 of our next 5 games, and then we'll find a way to squeak out something else. And our next 5 games being Houston, Arizona, Las Vegas, New England, and Indy again at Indy. Maybe I need to just change that. I don't know, man. Maybe I just said too much. Maybe I say 1 of our next 5. I'm just hurt right now, y'all. I'm not even standing up for this episode. Like, I hope you guys just understand that I get so weak in the knees. I can't stand because please, the Titans are bad. And I am just so sad. This is just crazy, man. I can't believe it. Look, I'm just enough to rambling. We'll be back with you guys in the next 48 hours to give you a preview episode of hopefully
Houston, a
game that we can make respectable, considering they haven't played very well. They actually average less points per game than us, which is kind of crazy. So maybe it's going to be the first team to score 7 points wins this game. I don't know. But this will be interesting, and we'll come back and break it down with you. Any closing thoughts for today, fellas, before we wrap it up?
In the words of Gentry Estes, I've seen better coaches fall after losses to Houston. Amy Adams Strunk hates Houston. She hates them. So, don't lose, Callahan.
The pressure's on.
Man, we appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. We're out of here.
Peace.